This is 7 National News, and in our top story. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, attended the 19th International Association of Prosecutors Annual Conference. Earlier today, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, launched the Arabic version of the International Public Prosecution's website. This is an important achievement made possible through the efforts of the Dubai Public Prosecution, or DPP, in line with the promotion of the Arabic language. DPP officials say this will also provide Arabic-speaking prosecutors better access to information. This is the first time the International Association of Prosecutors Annual Conference is being held in the Middle East and will run until the 27th of November in Dubai. Running under the theme Best Prosecution Practice, Learning from Each Other, excellence in public prosecution tops the conference agenda. Nearly 500 participants, including attorney generals, public prosecutors, as well as representatives of legal entities from 156 countries, were in attendance. DPP's impressive record in easing judicial services through technology was also highlighted. It was the first government department in Dubai to create an account on Apple Store in line with Dubai's vision to transform into a smart city.
Make it a website from only from English language to other languages, Arabic language, that we need to increase the member around the world and support the other Arabic countries to join the general association for the IBA. So we always support that, and also because the Sheikh Mohammed always promotion that we need to support the Arabic language.
Outstanding prosecutors were also honoured at the event in recognition of the dedication and hard work to ensure justice is served and the law is upheld for the protection of human rights, the environment and many more.
We have this difficult challenge to investigate crimes committed more than 25 years ago, and it was possible as a result of a team effort to find the proofs that some important persons in our country committed crimes against humanity. The impact is to prove to everyone in the country that the criminal law is valid for all and not just for the most vulnerable. This is a great incentive because of this award we can be sure that we are on the right track. So it's a good incentive for us.
It's a unique opportunity to be visibility for our work. We have a great result of decrease deforestation in the Amazon rainforest, and the challenges are great for the upcoming time. We are very happy, and they recognize, give for us the power for continue the work and improve the results.
Labourers are to be trained in their home countries before coming to work in the UAE under a pilot scheme to be run by the Ministry of Labour. According to local reports, 2,500 subjects will be chosen randomly from Indians, Pakistanis and Filipinos applying for visas to work in the building industry, as these three nationalities make up a large proportion of the country's blue-collar workforce. His Excellency Sakhar Ghabash, the Minister of Labour, was quoted as saying that the pilot project would ensure expatriate workers had the skills needed before they arrived, adding that the project will take about 2 years to conclude, and through its outcomes and recommendations, the ministry will develop employment policies. The scheme will see candidates assessed before they begin their training, while working, and again after 2 years, with the cost to be borne by the employers. Additionally, as part of the scheme, labourers that are trained will also receive certificates that are recognised in other countries, with officials from the National Qualifications Authority stating that this will assist labourers, including many who have spent more than 10 years in the construction industry without qualifications, to find better jobs when they leave the UAE. The professional training and testing standards have been developed by Abu Dhabi Quality and Conformity Council and the NQA, with other organisations taking part in the project to include the Federal Demographic Council, Zayed University, as well as companies such as Arab Tech, Al Habtoor and ATI ESCO. The Traffic and Patrols Directorate at the Abu Dhabi Police has called upon drivers to be cautious when driving in changing weather conditions that may cause low visibility in some areas due to fog in the capital. Lieutenant Colonel Jamal Salim Al-Amiri, Chief of Public Relations Section at the Traffic and Patrols Directorate Abu Dhabi Police, recommended that drivers follow the weather forecasts, emphasizing the importance of leaving safe and sufficient space between vehicles to avoid overtaking other vehicles and to drive at an appropriate speed that is suitable for the surrounding conditions. He added that drivers should ensure the quality and efficiency of their brakes and wipers and reduce the pressure applied to brakes while stopping or slowing down. Should the vehicle begin to slide due to wet surfaces, drivers should press the brakes gradually until the vehicle stops sliding. Addressing school bus drivers, Lieutenant Colonel Al-Amiri said in order to avoid any accident that may injure students, drivers must reduce their speed in foggy and rainy conditions throughout their shifts. The Sharjah Art Museum and the Children's Centre in Mughaydir will be home to around 1,066 masterpieces by young artists as Sharjah's Children Biennale returns for its fourth edition. At a press conference, organisers of the Biennale announced that the artworks received from around 11 countries will be exhibited between the 9th of December 2014 to the 9th of February 2015. The masterpieces have been created by children between the ages of 6 and 18 years old and are based on the theme of questions. The pieces will be exhibited across 32 main halls in 6 sections, each encouraging the artists to use their imagination and illustrate it according to where, how, when, who, what and why. In the lead up to the event, around 29 art workshops had been conducted and the children created the pieces focusing on 10 topics which included architecture, science, fairy tales, philosophy and languages, to name a few. According to the organisers, the Biennale is also aimed at encouraging more participation from young Emirati children to nurture their talent, as around 428 artworks from the UAE will be displayed during the event. Speaking during the press conference, the president of the Children Biennale stated that the event will act as a platform for young artists to enhance their creativity by transforming their imaginations into artistic masterpieces.
We also had children from the cancer ward in Al Tawam Hospital in collaboration with ANA, the Childhood Cancer Organization. And we also had people from Sharjah Humanitarian City. What we try to do, we try to introduce every child to this Biennale and share their artworks with us in order for us not to segregate between children in the UAE. The reason why we chose the UAE being a priority this year is because a lot of children, and there are a lot of entities that support art in the whole entire UAE. Biennale is one of the oldest. It's actually the first one in the UAE to support children's arts as an official platform. So we're trying to basically encourage them to use their 5 senses, and the 6th one would be imagination. And with that, I think the children loved it. We saw a great response throughout the workshops. They would love to learn more. They're a sponge for knowledge, and you know, the skies are their limits when it comes to art.
Driving licenses and seasonal cards can now be renewed at the smart kiosks recently installed by the Roads and Transport Authority. RTA installed 10 more smart kiosks recently at various locations, bringing the total number of operating smart kiosks to 16. The self-service kiosks help customer access as many as 8 RTA services. According to a local report, Ahmed Mahbub, Director of RTA Customer Service, was quoted as saying that the RTA has got in place a plan to revamp their services via smart kiosks after noticing a significant increase in the number of users, coupled with a higher satisfaction rating of customers processing their transactions through these kiosks, which save much of the time and effort. Kiosks are distributed over several locations, including RTA head office and customer service centres at Omar Ramul, Dera, Al Barsha, At Tawar, Tasjil Al Barsha and JBR. And finally, looking to other news. In a lead-up to the 43rd celebration of the UAE National Day, Atlantis, the Palm Dubai released fingerlings native to the country into the sea earlier today. 150 students from Jumeirah College attended the first of the 2-part event, which aims to celebrate the UAE's union. It also aims to raise awareness and educate residents about the importance of protecting the nation's resources. In collaboration with Turkey's, the Ministry of Environment and Water bred the fingerlings to repopulate the fish stocks of the Arabian Gulf. Earlier this morning, 1,700 fingerlings of Sabati bream and hamor have been released into the water. On Friday, the 28th of November, the second part of the initiative will take place. The public is encouraged to participate in the free event at Nasimi Beach and take part in the release of more fingerlings. According to experts, a number of local marine species can be found thriving at the Lost Chambers Aquarium, from sharks to lobster, seahorse and a variety of corals. Through events like this, they are able to engage residents and contribute in efforts to protect and conserve natural resources for generations to come.
Well, the children are the future generation, so it's important that we get them involved. This is when you start to best to educate them. This is when they're young, and we can start to install this idea that you need to look after the ocean when they're young, and then they'll just carry that through with them for the rest of their life. And this is all for them. We're trying to preserve the ocean for future generations.
It's mainly important because they're obviously endangered in the seas here because people are fishing, and the fish population is kind of decreasing. As to whether I'm helpful to the environment, I'd say I'd like to think so, as at home I recycle, and I think I'm quite helpful with the environment.
Personally, I think this makes us more aware of the environment and helping endangered species. For example, at school we have green committees and we do things like beach cleanups, and these clean the beach so that the sea doesn't get polluted and we don't kill more animals. So I think this is a really good